Partners. Andrew, good afternoon to you and thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon and good afternoon to your listeners.
Andrew, I mean, as I said in the intro, unprecedented times, especially for small business owners, keeping in mind the sort of relief that government has announced, do small and medium enterprises have a chance to survive? Do they have, a chance to really thrive during and post the lockdown?
I think it's a very difficult time for small businesses around the world. And South Africa is no different. And unfortunately, we started off with a really bad, coming from a really bad economic position. And obviously, whatever government is doing is really welcome. Unfortunately, I think it's just, for a lot of the SMEs, especially the ones that we deal with, the guys who are just getting going, in the first few years, a lot of them can't meet some of the criteria the government has put down. So from that side, I feel for a lot of these small businesses, and I don't think a lot of them will make it in the next few months.
Andrew, of course, we also want to give them, some advice, some tips for small business owners on how they can reinvent themselves, relook how they do business to possibly survive, post the lockdown. Let's speak about that. We spoke about the measures that government has announced. For those who are able to qualify and make full use of that, what should they be looking at to really take full advantage of what's on offer?
So I think one of the main things is to conserve as much cash as you can. You got to cut down your costs as much as you can, conserve the cash. You got to look at, I think what the COVID crisis has done is shown people that, you can operate online. You don't need an office. You don't need a shop front. You can operate online. Let's take advantage of this new type of marketing, this new type of business. We've just launched an app called Get Lion. You can get it on the Play Store or the Google Store. And it's to help SMEs out there, not just during COVID-19, but to get access to a whole host of information, including funding. And we, as profit share, what we do, we're able to fund without financial security or a track record. And we try to build up clients to just get going, get into the kind of space, and then we lose them to the banks and so forth. So, I implore SMEs to take advantage of all of these kind of opportunities out there. Unfortunately, I don't think, there's a solution for everyone. But if they go onto the site, they can try to get some help where they can, and they can access for funding if they've got some kind of contract or purchase order, even if they don't have financials or, their track record looks a bit shaky at the moment. We look past that. We just try to help them get them back on their feet, and then hopefully they'll be taken up by one of the banks in a few months.
And should small businesses, should they be looking at, including the digital aspect of doing business as maybe part of their core instead of just, an additional extra on the side?
So I firmly believe that digital should be probably one of your main parts to market. You could be sitting anywhere in this country and you can have a shop front that you can access anyone with a mobile phone or a laptop. You can sell anything. So, people should take advantage of that, not say, hey, I don't have money to put on for rent, or I don't have enough to start a shop front, or to go into a big retail space. Anyone from anywhere can take advantage of that, including service people. I mean, I've seen teachers and guitar lessons and musicians online teaching other people. So I think there's a massive new economy that SMEs must really start to go after. And I think online is becoming a lot more acceptable to people on the other side wanting to purchase these kind of services, realizing, hey, I don't have to see if this person has got an office or a shop. If it's done in a proper way with a proper online presence and offering security to the buyer and the seller, I think, anybody can buy from anybody these days. So SMEs must take advantage of that.
Andrew, is there a way for businesses, small businesses, to start preparing for life post-COVID-19 now, especially those that may need to restart, after the lockdown? Are there different ways that they should be looking at doing business to restart probably from scratch once the lockdown is over?
Great. So I think a lot of businesses will have to start from scratch. A lot of businesses will rethink their entire model, the entire business idea. And maybe it's not a bad idea to start now and thinking, was my previous business good enough? Would it have survived something like this? Because you can imagine this is not going to be probably a once-off event. Things like this may happen in the future again, probably sooner than we think. So how do you make yourself pandemic-proof, recession-proof? So use this time to start thinking about that. And then think, okay, how can I especially start a business with as low operating costs as possible? So, you can start, there's a lot of information out there. Please just go onto the web or Google it. You can start a business with a shop front, with a commercial site for a couple of $100,000. So you don't need thousands and thousands of rands to start up a business, have a retail presence. Services are also important. There's so many people getting retrenched at the moment. But nobody knows what a corporate needs better than the people who have been retrenched from those corporates. So think about the ideas. How can I make that corporate better? Go back to them and say, guys, I think I can sell you something that could save you money or solve a problem that you have, and try to get a contract or try to get a consulting gig that way. Sure. So I think people have to really be creative now for the next few months.
Andrew, of course, we've had so many discussions around the type of relief, that government is offering to small business owners, those who qualify, those who don't qualify. Government has come out to say, well, look, this is the first time we're dealing with something of this nature. As we go by, we'll continue to announce the various measures that we'll put in place. What sort of measures would you say government needs to put in place, especially for those small businesses that you're saying are unlikely to survive as things stand right now?
So, as I think we're not unique. Governments around the world are struggling with this. The problem, though, is the main thrust of government's financial aid has been to backing the banks, and the banks will then go and on-lend to their clients. But those clients will still have to meet the typical banking requirements that you needed to do anyway. So the guys who were excluded from the banking cycle before are still excluded now. And so I think government needs to have a chat to, other players in the market, the guys who actually look at, maybe the fintech players, and I see governments around the world are doing that because they realize the fintech guys are probably the businesses that could get capital and funding and understand the SMEs. I mean, the real SMEs, the guys who are, the mom and pop shops, the guys who are just starting up, they're in their first year of business. They don't have a set of financials yet. They don't have, the guys don't have cash set aside to weather this kind of storm. You don't have 2 or 3 months of capital that you saved up. You're just starting your business and you've been growing your business and your money's lying in stock or something and nobody's coming to buy it because your shops are closed or nobody's allowed to go out. You can't survive. How do you pay your rent and your school fees or, buy food? So I think government really needs to look at this. They're missing a huge market of small businesses, the 1, 2, 3 people kind of businesses that could effectively be the lifeblood of our economy going forward.